I was knocked out for a good little bit, so I didn't fully remember everything. I just remember the bike going away from me, and I remember waking up and seeing white. And I was able to push the bike off me with my legs and drag myself out. And I just stood up, and I knew it was broken because I went to go move and nothing happened.
All right, Joe Limandri and Lil Joey. Not gonna call you Lil, Joey. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
How you doing,
Thank,
Eric?
good. Thank you so much for being on my podcast. I'm super excited to have you on.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no problem. So, Joey, first thing is congrats on being able to go racing again. That's got to be a big deal. It's got to be a lot of fun. How
Yeah.
badly how badly did you miss it?
Oh, I was itching to go out and ride, but I was luckily able to go ice riding a little bit with Brett Baker from Evolve GT track days, and I was able to do some dirt testing for a little bit. So that was pretty fun, just to keep myself like on the bike, have my mind in the right place. And I've been doing some track days with the Evolve GT track days, like I said, and we've just been riding. We just got back from a race weekend too, so it's been fun to
Okay,
say.
nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, Big Joe, dude, good looking haircut, I gotta say. Uh,
Thank you.
the sun, I don't know what's going on with the hair.
I'll let him tell you about that.
Well, one Corona haircut, can't really get to the barbers, and I kind of lost a bet, and now I have to grow a mullet, so I'm just growing it out.
Yeah, you're just gonna own it.
Yep,
Nice.
doing it proud.
Right. Now, we actually had a little bit of a talk right before we started the podcast. I know you came in second uh, during your races this past weekend, right?
Yep,
Okay, and
just
then
got.
you had yes, sir, and then you had a DNF because you fried your clutch.
Mhm.
How do you deal with that kind of disappointment or mechanical failure?
Well, there's not really much I can do, so I don't really beat myself up on it. It sucks. Like I was in second, I was right behind the leader, and I was really looking forward to like get at least one win this weekend after a really hard weekend, starting from the back of the grid in all my races and having to make it all the way back up to first. So it sucked, but it's whatever. It happens. What am I gonna do? I don't I don't get upset over it. I just look forward for the next race and I just go for that win again.
Wow, that's a great attitude because I don't have that attitude. Like I was telling another friend just the other day, I am a big sore loser, right? I was playing I was playing cards with my wife and it was just she and me, like literally nobody else. Like let's play cards. Like okay. And then we're playing this game and she said pass. Now, it's you can't go and then it's my turn or you pass because you don't want to go, right? And
Mhm.
for me, I'm like very distinct, right? I'm like, if you say you can't go, that means I get to put down as many cards as I can. And she goes, oh, I
Right.
can't go. And so I started putting down cards. She goes, yo, what are you doing? She goes, I can go. I go, no, 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 no. You said you can't go. You didn't say pass. And then she's like, I'm done. I'm not playing.
Turned into a thing, right?
Exactly. So, Big Joe, I mean, I'm sure you've been asked this 1,000 times. How did your son get involved? First of all, how did you let your son get on the bike to begin with?
Well, I've been a motorcycle enthusiast all my life. I love bikes since I'm a little kid. Much younger than him, and I used to do track days. I've always had motorcycles since I was old enough to buy my own because my parents wouldn't buy me one. So, when I had a son, I was kind of excited to introduce him to it. So when actually I bought a pocket bike before he was even born. When I had my daughter, I bought a
Right.
little pocket bike with intentions of when they get old enough to have them ride it. I wasn't them at the time; it was just my daughter. Um, and then when he got old enough, he was actually around 4. I put him on the pocket bike just to put around, putting around in the driveway at the house, and that was how it started. And that was the beginning of the end, let's say.
So, Joey, you may not remember the first time you're on a bike, but when did you realize you wanted to go racing or this was something that was really, really fun? Do you remember that moment?
I'm pretty sure it was 2012. I won my first championship. I was like, I really want to start doing this more. And then we started going to the track more. Started just it was just a bunch of things been happening since then, and now I'm here.
Yeah. Now, did you start out in dirt or did you go road racing pretty much right away?
like my dad said, straight onto a pocket bike and just riding like in the driveway, wherever I can like ride that little thing. And then we ended up getting my 70 was the first bike we bought, right?
Yeah.
And then we
No.
just
Oh no, it was a 70. You're right.
yeah, and then we just went straight to NJ Mini GP and got
Mm.
started with Ryan Fleming right over there, and we just started riding there. And
So it was road racing.
yeah, road racing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, I've done I like you, I've done a bunch of track days, and I realized that I don't have enough talent really to go fast. I just don't have that ability to not be scared, right?
Mhm.
I'll go in too hot in a corner and that will back me off for the next 8 corners, right?
Right,
And
right,
people
yeah.
are like, oh no, no, if you practice and do more track days, you'll get better. But I know within myself, I just don't have it in me. When did you, Big Joe, when did you realize, Joey could go fast?
Well, he kind of went fast, like right away when he started riding. He was going fast. He didn't know what he was doing. He was just riding fast, you know. So he wasn't afraid of the speed. So it was just a matter of teaching him the skills to go fast, safe, go faster, safer. Is
Mm,
the saying.
right.
So yeah, it was like almost right away. He just started going fast.
Huh. That's awesome. So Joey, let me ask you this. When you're on the track and you're racing, and let's say you're not in first place yet, what goes through your mind when you know you're not in first place? Like is it almost like a, I don't know, maybe not a chip on your shoulder, that's not the right word. But do you get like, okay, I'm gonna show you that I'm better? Like how what goes through your mind?
Well, when I'm out there and someone's in front of me and I
Yeah.
want to catch them, I just think like, all right, what am I going to do this following lap to put down a better lap? How am I going to catch up to them? And it's not really, I don't really like get all mad and I go, because that's how you crash. That's how you
Mm,
lose focus, because then you're getting mad and you don't really focusing on what you want to do. So what I do is I relax. I relax myself and I get myself prepared for what's to come in front of me. And I'm always ready for anything. Because when you're mad, you're not really focusing. You get tunnel vision. You focus on one goal and you don't focus on anything else around you. You're not focused on what's on the track, what could be on the track, what can happen at any time. You're only focusing on one goal. And I don't think like that because that's how things get dangerous and that's how you crash or make a mistake and end up either losing your position or just staying there and not even making it up to first.
I see. That makes a lot of sense. So Big Joe and Joey, I guess, is there a strategy to every single race that you guys attend? How do you formulate that game plan?
Good. You want to go?
Well, yeah, really like this is the best when there's like videos of people going out there and riding, and I could really study them and what they're doing in each turn. Or when I'm just out behind them, I know my strong points, I know their weak points, I know my weak points and their strong points. So I
Mm,
can really prepare myself for what I'm going to do the next lap and how I'm going to pass them and how I'm going to keep them behind me. Or what am I going to do like the last lap? How am I going to stay in front of them to keep them so I can get to the finish first and win? So there's always a strategy to everything. That's
I
the only
see.
thing.
Okay. Now, Big Joe, that sounds like it requires um, a lot of multitasking involved. All right.
Yes. Yeah. We spend a little time, like he said, watching videos and just trying to analyze what the other riders have done in the past and try to come up with a game plan for our races.
It always changes as it goes because all
Yeah,
riders try
because
something new
right.
or I do something new. So we just like to have a baseline of just if anything, this is what I can fall back on if I have to figure something out.
Okay. Now, Big Joe, you're obviously comfortable with letting your son compete at a very high level. What is the wifey? What is mommy like? Does she get the jitters?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I'm really comfortable with it. I mean, sometimes it gets a little unnerving, but you kind of you get used to it, and I trust him. I know that he knows what he's doing, and anything could happen. But I have a lot of faith in his abilities. Um, the wife, she doesn't come to the track very often, just because it makes her uncomfortable. She's nervous, and so she doesn't come very often.
I see. So Joey, look what you put your poor mother through. What is it like? Um, knowing Joey that knowing that your dad is supports you, you do realize there could be less dangerous things you could do, like basketball, whatever, right? There's less things. So it is a relatively dangerous sport, no matter how well you think and what you're doing. What does that mean to you when you knowing that your dad's like really supports you and got your back?
Well, it just gives me a lot more faith, and it makes me push even harder, knowing that my parents will always be behind me and always push me more, and always just help me out whenever I need it.
Big Joe, do you have a pep talk that you still give to Joey before the start of race?
Um, no, he doesn't really need pep talks. He's pretty motivated on his own. I just tell him the usual stuff. Good luck, think, be smart. Sometimes I try to remind him of our strategy if we have one,
Yeah,
and that's pretty much it. He's pretty motivated on his own. He doesn't need me to try and push him.
I see. Yeah, because I was talking to Derek Keys. I think it was Derek Keys. Dude, my memory sucks, but it was Derek Keys. We were talking about his dad and him going racing as kids.
Right.
And his no, it wasn't Derek Keys. Oh crap, it was somebody else. But one of the father who is very risk adverse, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Basically at every start of the race would go, "Okay, son, be safe."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Be safe?" Like, dude, like how am I supposed to win if I'm like
Yeah.
being safe? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
happen. So
Yeah, no, be safe. Just do your thing. I tell him, we don't have one thing we use. It's just whatever, depending on the situation.
Joey, is there a routine? Is there something you'd like to do before the start of every race? I'll tell you what mine is. At the start of every podcast, I always have to brush my teeth. God knows why. It doesn't make any sense. You can't smell my breath, but I have to do it. If I don't do it, I can't do the podcast. Do you have a routine or ritual?
Well, I have a little like ritual that I always do before a race. Not really a ritual, but it's just everything I do before a race. And I don't know why. It's just like something that's been like said to me before, and I've just always been doing it. I always get on the bike on the left side of the bike. I don't know why. It's just someone told me that like you get
Who's
more
that
like,
someone?
I don't know. Was it you?
It was me.
Probably was him.
Because that's one of my things. He could only get on from the left side of the bike.
So I've just been doing that, and I always put my left glove on first, then my right. I don't know why.
Real.
It's just I
Oh.
always do it, and if I do it right then left, I have to take my gloves off and redo it. I don't know why. I just feel like I have to.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, that's not too OCD or whatever. That's a little thing. And I think the going on the bike from the right side is a no-no because of the muffler, right? Because
You
of the
know what?
exhaust back in the day.
Maybe I'm not sure where it came from. It's just a thing I have that you always get on the bike from the left.
I do that on everything. Like I get on my bicycle from the left side, my pit scooter on the left side, everything.
I'm the same way. He got it because I've been telling him since he's little. No, go get on from the left side.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, that's generally where the kickstand is, and if you're about to drop it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we don't have kickstands, but yeah.
Well, right, but on road bikes.
Yeah.
I am a moron, but
Yeah.
No, I know.
So am I. Trust me.
Tell me a story, Joey, of a hardship you've overcome. Now, the reason why I ask you this, okay? When I was 15, I think I was still like, I don't know, running around my underwear. I was still a dork, like a giant dork. And even the brief time of us talking, you don't come across as somebody who's super mature. You're not gonna be running around, I don't know, doing just stupid kid stuff, right? And I'm not saying you're a kid, but stupid 15-year-old stuff, because that happens. But tell me a story where you've overcome hardship. It could be on the track, it'd be off the track.
Well, I'm gonna say the off track thing first, and it might come up later about the on track. But when I was little, it was always hard for me to make friends because I race motorcycles. Everyone else does all the other kind of sports like football. So it was hard for me to make a connection with the other kids because they have no idea what I'm talking about, and they didn't really want to care to listen. So it was pretty hard. But as everyone grew up, everyone got more mature and older. It just became like I just became like a normal kid to everyone, and I just raced motorcycles. And then And I don't really talk about it to any people because no one understands. So it's like I'm talking to a brick wall. So I
Yeah.
start talking about other things.
So are generally your friends that are a little bit older than you because they're probably from the racing circle? Do you get a lot of that?
Well, my home friends are all my same age, except my friend Marcello who races. He's 15. He's actually 16. But but most of my racing friends are around my same age. Some of them are a little older.
Mm.
So it's like it's a mix of everything.
I find that I've talked to a bunch of racers, and I find that racers, younger guys, like even Andrew Lee, who's 21, he's older than you, but he's 21, younger than me for sure. But he's a lot more mature because just growing up, yeah, you've got friends on the track, but generally your mentors are older, and so you just mature a lot faster. So Joe's, are you happy with the way he's grown up to be a young man? Like
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I definitely attribute that to, racing because like you said, he's around a lot of older people and a lot of his mentors are older and just the whole racing thing you need to be a little more mature to race safely and when you're in the paddock you have to have some control. You can't be just a wild kid, that.
hmm.
So yeah, I think you learn to be a little more serious and mature just from being at the track.
Yeah, I see. So what do you say, Joey, to haters and doubters who like I'm sure you're gonna get it. Like where guys your age are like, oh, whatever, you race or you ride a motorcycle. Like, how do you keep from, how do you overcome doubters and haters? I mean, that must happen, on occasion, right?
Yeah, well, at school, not much anymore. Like, like my friends, like that don't race, make fun of me for it, but it's whatever. Like, it doesn't get to me. Like
Yeah.
most things that people say to me don't get to me. I don't really, it doesn't affect me at all. And most of the time, I don't even bother arguing with them. 'Cause even if I do, they don't even care or understand or don't want to care or want to figure out what I'm trying to talk about. So there's no point in trying to argue with them.
Yeah.
And usually, I just use it to fuel myself and make me push harder to really prove everyone wrong that doubted me. Even though that's a very corny thing, everyone says that.
Yeah. No, but it's true, right? I mean,
Yeah,
there's two types of people. It's either you get inspired by it or you fold.
Right.
So
Yep.
now what is training regimen like? Is that a big part of your conditioning? Is that a big part of your program? Because it's, I mean, I don't have to tell you, riding bikes it's pretty tiring. Or can
well, yeah, racing's definitely tiring, and right over there is my road bike that I ride to train on, get some cardio in.
be.
But I haven't done recently, but I have to get more on like other things like strength training, other than just riding my road bike. Because riding a road bike will only get you so far.
Mm. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Joe. Joey's had a big crash, at least once, right? You've had
Yeah.
crashes, and they're
Yeah.
pretty big,
Fortunately.
and it's part of racing.
Yeah.
I remember doing a track day, and I crashed pretty decently. I was doing 130 kilometers an hour. I don't remember how many miles that is. Let's say I was doing 80. For
Yeah.
me, for a little guy like me, it was a big crash. And it was embarrassing too because it was right off the back straight and everybody was standing there, so they saw me crashing, and I totaled the bike. Now, I came out with like a barely a scratch. Like nothing happened to me. It's fine. But my then at the time girlfriend, she freaked out, right? She came
Yeah.
running out to the track and the ambulance was trying to get to me and they had to hold her back and they were like trying to calm her down because she was freaking out.
Right.
I can't imagine what it's like to be a dad and seeing your son going over the handlebars or whatever. What is that like?
Honestly, it's worse when I can't see it. When I could actually see the crash, I could see the crash. I saw what happened. I see him move or get up or whatever, whatever the case may be. But when I can't see him, like his worst crash was really scary because it happened on the other side of the track that I couldn't see. So
Mm,
I didn't even know it was him until everybody else came off the track and he didn't. And then the ambulance went, and it was a whole thing, So that's worse because you don't know. I don't know his condition. I don't know if he's up, if he's down, if he's awake, if he's not. You don't. I don't know. So that's worse than actually seeing it. If I see it, it's scary, but it's not as bad.
Okay. So Joey, when you were on the ground, what do you remember what you were thinking other than, dang it, I wish I was back on the bike and riding again?
Well, it was a pretty scary crash. I hit a wall and I hit the wall. There was an air fence, but I went underneath the air fence and I broke my arm. So I was underneath the air fence. I had a bike on top of me and I looked up and all I saw was white because it was the bottom of an air fence. So I
Right.
where I was and I was knocked out for a good little bit. So I didn't fully remember everything. I just remember the bike going away from me. And I remember waking up and seeing white. And I was able to push the bike off me with my legs and drag myself out. And I just stood up and I knew it was broken because I went to go move and nothing happened.
Wow, that's crazy. Now, how long did it take for you to rehab and get back to 100%?
I actually did no rehab. I just, against doctor's orders, I just started moving it myself. I waited for a little bit till it was safe to move it. And I just started moving like little movements. I'd move until it hurt and then I'd stop. Move until it hurt, stop. And I just kept doing that till I was strong enough to do mostly whatever I can. Like other than like lifting weights and stuff like that and riding. I was able to do like normal things, like pick up a water bottle, pour water into a cup. And then I went to the doctor's office and they're like, all right, you don't have to do rehab. You did it yourself. You can go.
Now, was that something you had read up on, or was this instinct?
It was just me wanting to get back on the bike as soon as I could. I wanted to get, I was itching to ride. I was doing whatever I could just to get back on the bike.
Yeah. So I guess you were like forcing yourself to use your right hand as much as you could for everyday little things, brushing your teeth, etc.
Yeah, it was just, I just started doing little things here and there. Like in the shower, I'd take my cast off because I had to, because I was in the shower, and then I would just start moving just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. And
Yeah.
I started doing that every day.
You're braver than me, man. I've never broken a bone, and all the boneheaded stuff I've done, knock on wood, I've never broken a bone at all. Now, have you ever had a freak injury on or off the track that's kind of prevented you from racing that weekend? Like a freak injury that's not related to racing.
Not really. If I
Okay.
do get an injury before the weekend, I'm going there anyway and racing if it's not too severe. I
Yeah.
try not to hurt myself before I go ride.
Okay. Are you
The
generally
last thing I want is to hurt myself off the track, not on the track.
right? No, that makes sense. You got to save it, right? So, Joe, you'll appreciate this little story. It was my was it my honeymoon or anniversary? It might have been anniversary. Okay, nothing weird. It was my anniversary and the wife
I
booked
didn't
a
know where this was
getaway.
going.
No, yeah, blah blah blah. And the night before, Joe, you're gonna love this. I said to all my friends at work, you can, there's witnesses. I go, one of my friends got hurt playing indoor soccer and he had a couple of staples on his head. And I said to him, I go, that will never happen to me. I go, you're a wuss, right? I go, you're a big wuss. I've never had stitches. I've had some really bad cuts. I've had one on my forearm that's really bad from a meat butcher's blade. You know those
Oh,
spinning ones where you get in pastrami?
uh-huh.
Right. It had stopped, thank God. But I hit my forearm on it and I could see bone.
Oh,
And so
wow.
it was a very decent gash. And I didn't
Uh,
go to the doctors. I sucked it up. I made sure it stopped bleeding and I went home. So I told all my friends, all my coworkers, like, I'm never getting stitches. You know where this is going.
yeah, I know exactly where it's going.
So long story short, we bought a wine bottle opener that allows you to put the wine cork back in the wine, like
Uh-huh.
like a cheap ass, right? So
Right.
I'm like, hey honey, I bought this cork. I bought this thingy. I can put the cork back. And she's like, don't mess with it. You're gonna friggin' break the bottle or something. Sure enough, you
Oh,
know,
man.
5 stitches just to this finger alone, right? And I'm telling you now, Joey, in your shoes, I would have said career-ending injury. Dad, I can't race anymore.
See,
So
I would
that
have
hasn't.
drank a bottle of wine.
Well, we were halfway done, and I'm lightweight. I can't,
I would
half
have
a
finished
bottle
it.
between two people. We're good. Actually, it was ice wine. Have you ever had ice wine?
No, never even heard of it.
Okay. I find it's a big thing in Canada, and if I ever come down, if I ever come down, we'll meet up and I'll buy you a bottle.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's called a dessert wine. It's really, really sweet. It tastes like, honestly, it tastes like cough syrup. It's like
Oh,
that
really?
sweet. Yeah. It's very thick. It's very liquid. It's very viscous. It's very thick,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and it's very, very sweet. And like, I don't like a lot of sweet foods, so to me, it doesn't do anything. But they do it because, like, let's say you're eating, I don't know, whatever, you're having a slice of cake, right? Your cake is sweet. You wouldn't want regular wine, so this
Right.
is more sweeter than regular
Pairs
cake.
with the sweet food. I got you.
Yeah, that's it.
All
I
right.
don't know why we're talking about cakes, but um, what do you guys do in your spare time that's still a father and son thing? Or is there anything that you do out off the track that you guys like to do?
For me, honestly, there's not a lot of time off the track. It's track, and between track trips, it's preparation for the track. So there's not a whole lot that goes on in between track time.
Right.
Well, at least we spend time working on bikes together, which I don't mind. I love working on my bikes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's an activity we do together. Yeah, we do. With all the prep and all that goes is all done. We do it together. Probably
Yeah.
spend too much time together, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite jealous. My father is not handy,
Hmm.
right? And everything I've learned about bikes, cars, anything to do with the mechanics, like I had to just watch YouTube videos like
Yeah, yeah.
so just the other day I had to change, just actually yesterday I had to look on YouTube to change my spark plugs on my car,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it did fix the problem. So there's an engine misfire and I'm like, oh,
Oh boy,
okay. So
could be anything.
it could literally be anything. I'm hoping it's something easy like the coil packs or something simple. I thought it was going to be super simple like spark plugs, but that didn't do it.
No, of course not. That would be too easy.
Yeah,
Always,
exactly.
Yeah.
Joey, have you ever had to deal with or ride through mechanical or some kind of electronic gremlins during a race? Have you ever to ride around it?
actually, this weekend, before I fully fried the clutch where like I had to pull in, I did a race before that and it went like halfway through and I kept pushing and I got second like that.
Wow.
So it didn't get too bad until that last race.
Yeah. How much time does it take to change a clutch on a bike?
It doesn't take that long. Half hour or so.
We
Okay.
didn't have that half hour to change. It was
Yeah,
like
I
one
mean,
race after another.
yeah, we didn't really have the time to change the clutch in between, so we just
Okay.
tried to run it one more time, and we discussed it ahead of time. We said if it really starts slipping, just pull off, and we're gonna have to take the DNF.
Okay. I've never dealt with a slipping or dying clutch on a bike. I guess it's very similar to a car, how it just doesn't engage or you change your gear and it
Exactly,
doesn't
yeah,
hold.
exact same thing. Yep, yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same. It just when you get on the power, it just slips and the revs just jump up and there's no drive forward. It's just slipping. Yeah, yeah,
So you were doing it.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, you're going
Dang.
down straight away, and right when I hit like 8,000 RPM, the thing just goes all the way up. So I go to shift, I think, oh, it's time to shift. And it just goes all
Yeah.
the way back down, and then it finally grabs again. So I just lose everything I had coming out of that last turn.
That sucks. That really does suck. You're obviously in the beginning of your racing career. You've got many, many years to go. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah. And dude, I'm not fluffing you up. I actually just from listening to the way you think and the way you act, the way you talk, I think you'll do very well.
I hope
Now,
so. I really hope so. I push really hard for
Thank
that.
you.
And
yeah.
thank you, yeah.
Now, that being said, the reality is not just racing. Let's talk about sports figure. Did you know that something like 87% of all professional athletes go bankrupt after the career ends? Okay.
Yep, I did not.
There's a lot of factors, okay? It's not just about, the lack of money because you have money.
Hmm.
But the other realities is from talking to ex-racers is by the time you retire, there may not be enough money in the motorcycle racing pool to go around.
Hmm.
And that's what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful. The reality is there's guys who are about to retire now. They're saying we didn't make enough money
Hmm.
during my
Yeah,
career.
yeah.
Is that something that you've thought of? Is that something you're preparing for? You're in school now, obviously. That's great. Um, but is that something you have to think about, or is that something you have to plan for? How does that even work?
Well, unfortunately, yes, we have to think about it because it's my life. So I don't want to end racing and do nothing. So I do very good in school. I'm in a couple advanced classes. I try really hard to keep my grades up because if racing does fail, I have something to fall back on. I don't know what I want to do when I finally become old enough to stop racing. I hope not, but if I have to stop racing, I don't know what I want to do after, but at least I have something to fall back on, you know?
Yeah, no, that's very mature. I remember what I wanted to ask. I wanted to ask you about sponsorship. Now, your dad is great influence. He's a great help, and honestly, the fact that you guys can wrench together, that's very, very. Uh, I don't want to sound corny, but it's sweet. It's cute. And Joey, I know you're probably going, "Oh my God," ugh. But the reality is, when you do stuff together, it's kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Um, my old man now finally appreciates me because anything that's broken around the house, he's like, can you come and fix the railing on the stairs?" And I'll be like, sure, Dad. I watch the YouTube video now and again. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
So it is very sweet. But that being said, your dad can't, or your mom or your sister couldn't have been the only three people who helped you along. And you've got some good sponsorships. And everybody, likes to thank their sponsor. But has there been a sponsor who's truly stepped in the time of need and moved your career forward?
Well, right from the beginning, like you said, Todd McNabbie from Heroic Racing and Proud has just been with us since 2013, right?
Yeah, somewhere around 2012, 2013. Yeah, he's been helping us for a long time.
Even before I started racing the big bikes, he's always just been helping us out, and he's always willing to step up and just get something done just for me to go out and ride. And he always gives me the top stuff, always makes sure I'm safe. He even realizes stuff that we don't even realize and fixes it. Like if he sees something wrong with the suit that he doesn't like that we don't realize, he'll fix it without us even have to tell him. So
That's amazing.
he really makes sure that I'm always safe when I go out and ride. We have a Rye helmet's been helping us for a long time now. And just recently we had CyberSafe Solutions. They do online security. So they just stepped on board for this year and really helped us get this year going, helped to get the bike ready, get us to different rounds for this year. So we have a lot of people behind us really helping us out.
Awesome. Now, are you in talks with the sponsorship? Do you get a say as to whose logo gets on your bike or your jacket?
Well, really, it's if you help us out, we'll put you on. But that's something you have to ask my dad because he does all the sponsors talking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we want to give back to our sponsors. They're helping us. We want to help them. So, I mean, we kind of help them with exposure. That's kind of the most we can do for them, and try and make people aware of their products or their services or whatever the case may be. We try to give them as much exposure as we can.
Yeah. What is that almost like a full-time job chasing sponsorship?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Has it gotten harder over time? I know you've been racing. When did you start racing, by the way? I guess that is a question I should have asked.
Is that for me or for him?
Uh, Joey. Let's go with Joey. Yeah.
Well, I started racing when I was 8, and I don't even remember. That
Yeah.
was 5 years ago, right?
How old are you? 15. That was 7 years ago.
7. Oh.
Yeah. 7 years ago. So you've been racing 7 years. And so from 7 years ago, has it been easier or harder to get sponsorship money, or it's always been a bit of a grind?
It's always been a grind, and even now it's a grind. It's we have sponsors that help us, but we don't have any big sponsors that like cover all the cost. Most of the cost is still covered by me. So we get help, but it's not. It doesn't cover everything, not yet, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because I've always, this is an ongoing topic, by the way, on the podcast. Okay. I always talk about why isn't motorcycling more popular? I mean, you get enough riders in the States. And now we've got this trend. I know it's been happening for many years, but we have this trend of paying to race. right? As opposed to, you should be able to cover your cost,
Yeah.
especially someone with talent, right? I can understand if it's like Joe Schmo like me, like no one is going to pay me to go racing.
Right.
But if you're bringing in the results,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be out of your pocket.
Honestly, I don't know what happened to the motorcycle racing industry. I know it took a hit in 2008 when the economy tanked because people stopped buying motorcycles, and a lot of the manufacturers stopped putting money into racing because racing is expensive. So I guess they felt they weren't getting the return they needed, so they pulled out of racing, and it's just been a grind getting it back to where it was. But it seems like it's improving lately. MotoAmerica's been doing a great job of bringing exposure to racing, and bringing a lot of sponsors back, and bringing a lot of fans back. But it still has a ways to go. It's still nowhere near it was before pre-2008.
Yeah. So Joey, what are some of your motorcycle racing heroes that you look up to today?
Well, Valentino Rossi. Everyone knows Valentino Rossi, but
Yeah.
Nicky Hayden, huge American racer. Always looked up to him because he came from America, which not a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
Because most people come from like Spain, Italy, mostly all the overseas, but not a lot in America. Some have, not a lot. But like right now, we have Joe Roberts out there racing in Moto 2. So that's someone that I look up to because he's one of the Americans. He's the first American in a couple of years that got into Moto 2 and was able to get a pole position in qualifying. So he's one big person already out there. We have Brandon Posh, who's been making a big name for himself. So those are some like recent heroes that are just coming through and really shining and showing America and showing everyone that what America has in racing.
You know, the funny thing is you say Valentino Rossi is one of your, obviously everybody likes Valentino, but I used to be back in the Disney, I used to be the biggest hater of Valentino Rossi because I was a Honda guy, right? I was the biggest Nicky Hayden supporter. So knowing that Rossi was his biggest rival, and I was like, Rossi,
He became
and
your rival too, right?
yeah, but now that I'm an old guy, I'm like, yay, one for the older, one for
He's
the
one
older
of
rider.
them.
Did you ever get to meet Nicky Hayden? Did either of you?
No,
No?
so but I did get to meet Valentino Rossi and got to go into his RV.
Get out of here. How'd
Yeah.
that happen?
We're at Indianapolis for MotoGP back in 2012.
I don't know what year it was.
Wow.
But I used to go to Indianapolis, and Colin Edwards was able to bring us to like where they had all the RVs parked and stuff like that. And Rossi was like, "Yeah, come in."
Wow. Did you get his autograph? Did you get a selfie?
I think I have his autograph.
Yeah, we have photos and autographs. Yeah.
What I do have a really cool story from Indianapolis. Cal Crutchlow, we saw him. I was like, "Hey, Cal, can I get a knee puck?" He's like, "Yeah, follow me." So I'm like, "All right." I followed him, and he brought me to his garage, where he kept all the suits and all the stuff hung up, the bikes.
Now, hold on. Mind you, when Cal told him to follow, I didn't expect him to follow. I said, don't bother. He's not, Cal took off on a scooter, and he took off behind him. So I said, oh crap. I picked up all my stuff. We had bags and all kinds of things. I picked up all my stuff. I turned around, they were both gone. There were 60,000 people, and I can't find this kid.
Right.
Go ahead. You can finish your story now.
Yeah, so we're in the garage. He signs it. He hands me the knee puck. So that was pretty cool.
That is super
cool. The rest
cool.
of the story.
Well,
so when he initially asked for the knee puck, Cal told him, follow me, and I told him, nah, don't bother. I told Joey, and Cal's girlfriend was on the back of the scooter, and she told him, yeah, follow us, come with us, and I was like, nah, don't bother, and that's why I didn't think he wasn't going to go, but he did. He ran behind them. So when Cal brought him in the garage, he was in there for probably 15, 20 minutes because I couldn't find him. I don't know where the garage was. I was looking around. So he was in there for a little while. He signed the autograph, and when he handed him the knee puck, he handed it to him, and he said, tell your dad I said this.
Nice.
Yeah, as a joke, joking, it was pretty funny.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, Cal's a character to say the least,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
Definitely
that's
class
yeah,
act.
cool guy. I saw him a little later, and we chatted just briefly, and he was a cool guy.
yeah, that's super amazing. How do you balance, Joey? How do you balance schoolwork with racing?
Well, it's really not too hard. I just put a little bit more effort, and I can get it done without having to like sit inside all day and having to do schoolwork. My teachers, on the other hand, most of them don't like me because I'm not always in school because I'm always racing. But I get their stuff done and hand it in.
I was just gonna say, we being we driving so much, while we're driving, he does his schoolwork and gets it all done. We spend hours on the road. He's got plenty of time to, do his work and make sure he's up to date on all his schooling.
Yeah, that was part of the question I want to ask is how do you help out at all with school?
Uh, not as much as I did when he was younger. I mean, now he handles it himself. Besides, give him the little nudge once in a while. Hey, make sure you do your homework. Make sure you do, just make sure you get it done. You know.
Yeah. Joey, where do you like to be? What's your next move and what do you ultimately want to do?
Well, if in the racing standpoint, right now, my short-term goal, hopefully getting on the box this year in MotoAmerica, or maybe even winning and get my name out there, get myself on the map, people getting to notice me, and then maybe in the long term, go race overseas and race in the premier class, something around those lines, racing on the big screen.
Hmm. Do you have, and I kind of asked you this, do you have any interests outside of school? I mean, sorry, outside of racing that you think, hey, I could turn this into a career. Like Andrew Lee, again, to talk to him is he's an amazing photographer outside of racing, right? He takes amazing pics and you could totally turn that into a career. Is there something that you have that you're like, maybe I could do this too?
I don't really know right now. I'm still experiencing with things that I like other than racing, because I know everything can't be just racing, racing, racing. I have to do other things,
Yeah.
but I like to work on things, so that's one thing. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to work on anything, cars, motorcycles, anything you can think of. I would love to work on.
Okay.
That's just
Well, yeah, well, my car's engine 1 and 3, cylinder 1 and 3 is misfire. I'll send you down the logs, and you can.
I'll
yeah,
send
ship
him
the
up to
car.
Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Just come on up. I mean, you're about a 10-hour drive. Yeah. How, Joe, Big Joe, how you been dealing with coronavirus? I mean, that's got to set you back in a little bit. And, sponsors are less willing to interact or less willing to pay out. How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, that you're actually bringing up a real thing, because of the coronavirus. Some of the sponsorship didn't come through like it was supposed to. Luckily, my work was essential, and I
Mhm.
didn't miss any work myself. So, that kind of helped. But we just have to, tighten our belt and do the best we can, and hopefully the sponsorship comes back around once everything opens back up.
Does Joey racing? Did your daughter, by the way, have ever had any interest in racing, or just not her thing?
No, not really. She rode a couple of times, just for fun, but not really interested in racing, just to experience it. And
She's a big school person.
oh yeah, she's a big academic,
Mhm.
so that's her thing, and that's what she likes, and she does well.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Final question before I let you guys go, and it's super random. Joey, I'll ask Joey first. What is your favorite food?
Oh, I like. I'm a very, very picky eater,
Okay.
but I like any type of meat. Like I'll eat steak, chicken. I just love meat.
Okay, good. Do you have a favorite fast food or favorite like, oh, I know I shouldn't be eating this, but I am going to anyway?
Chick-fil-A.
All right, dude.
And
Are
it's
you
not and it's not in New York. There's only like one at like the mall, but the mall is closed. So I can't even have Chick-fil-A until I go race. That's the only time I
right?
get Chick-fil-A when I'm traveling.
Huh. We just started having Chick-fil-A's up in Toronto. It's I think we had one restaurant or two restaurants open. Yeah, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, I like them. I mean, they're
Yeah, they're
great.
good. Yep.
Yeah. So next year is sponsored by Chick-fil-A.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the dream. I can see it, right?
That's
Giant
smart.
chick.
That's on my resume.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
that's great.
that'd be amazing. So cool. Joe, what Big Joe, what is your I kind of know this, but what is your big aspiration for Joey? Do you want him to turn this into a full-time career, or do you want him to be like, you know what? Don't put all your eggs in a basket kind of thing?
Well, being it's his dream and ambition, I kind of want to support that. So, yeah, if that's what he wants, that's what I want. If
Mm,
he ever decides that it's not something he wants to do anymore, then that's fine too. We'll chase something else. That's okay.
that's awesome. Yeah, so guys, as first I want to say thank you very much for being on the podcast. Oh, hold on, Joey and Big Joe. Well, we'll start with Joey. How do we follow you on social media? Because I'm a total moron when it comes to social media. Maybe because it's my age. Again, I'm too old to be on.
Yeah, dude.
Like I literally didn't start Instagram until like I started the podcast like 10 weeks ago. So how do we follow you on social media, Joey?
We have a couple of different social medias, but for Instagram, I have Limandri underscore racer. And for Facebook, it's the same thing. They're both my racer page. And we have a Twitter that's what is that? I can't read that.
Junior Limandri.
That's our Twitter. And I'm probably gonna start a YouTube and start posting on there. Like
We have a YouTube. info@joelimandrijr.com.
Okay, can you say
YouTube more though.
yeah, can you say Instagram again? It wasn't very clear. You might have to say it a little slower.
It's Joseph Limandri underscore racer, and that's
Okay.
my race. That's my racer page for Instagram.
Okay. Okay, cool. Do you have a preference as to which social media platform that we should be hammering you on? I love Instagram just because it's so accessible, right?
Yeah.
Facebook, the joke is true, right? It's for old guys like us, right? Facebook, right? So happy to be on Instagram, happy to be on Facebook and Twitter, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. I mean, you could go to the website, joelimandrijr.com, and link to the accounts right through there.
That's awesome. Super. Like I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having us on. Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I know it's 10:30. I don't know what your sleeping schedule is like, so I'm gonna let you guys go and rest up for next. Are you racing next weekend? When's the next race?
2 weekends from now, it's the MotoAmerica at Road America.
Round
Right.
two.
Round two.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, I look forward to hearing about it, and maybe when the season ends, I'd love to have you guys back on just for a quick catch up and chat some more.
That'd be great. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, thanks guys.
All right.
Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Eric.
Seeing you.
Talk to you soon.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey.